31 teams to go. My road to predict all 131 teams this college football offseason. And we are moving on to the Nevada Wolfpack, a team that I had some high expectations for a season ago. And even though they didn't reach my expectations, this was still a very, very solid football team last year in 2022. A team that was fairly close to getting into the Mountain West Championship game, but was still a couple of wins away. This is the Nevada team that loses a ton of talent coming into the 2022 college football season, and they also lose their head coach who left for Colorado State in Jay Norvell. But a lot of pieces leaving, especially a lot of recognizable names on the offensive end. It's a Nevada team that's going to have to add some talent. So, will Nevada be able to get back, will they be as good as they were last year with all they've lost? Or is this a Nevada team that's going to be taking a step back, maybe even miss out on a bowl game in 2022? And what's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football offseason. Chances are I've already done your favorite team. So if you feel like I have, the way you can check it, the subscribe button. I got playlists on my channel that you can look through. But if you know I haven't done your favorite team, you should also hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, so you know when that video gets uploaded. And the fans of the Nevada Wolfpack out there, you guys are going to know this team a lot more than I do. So if you feel like I missed something, you want to add something, leave it in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to hear what you guys have to say. Let's talk about Nevada in 2022, my 8th ranked team in the Mountain West Conference. Coming into the 2022 college football season last year, again, I had some high expectations for this team. They didn't live up to my hype, but it was still a solid year for them overall. 8-5 overall, including, I believe, a bowl game loss to Western Michigan. We're 5-3 in conference play, and statistically, they were a pretty good team last year. 424 yards and 35 points per game offensively. That points per game mark was the highest in the Mountain West Conference. The yards per game mark was the 3rd highest in the conference. Now, last year, their defense in yards per game speak ranked 10th in the Mountain West Conference with 398 yards per game, but they kept teams out of the end zone, only 24 points per game a season ago. So some solid numbers from this Nevada team just a season ago. However, when you take a look at some of the talent that is leaving this team, yeah, there is a lot of talent that is going to be gone off this team that you need to pay attention to, because they're going to need to have to replace that. Now, Ken Wilson comes in as that head coach to replace Jay Norvell. See how he does back with the Nevada Wolfpack. But the biggest loss off this team, in my opinion, Carson Strong at the quarterback position. 4,186 yards, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Was fantastic over his time with this Nevada team. Also had a 70% completion percentage. You're going to need a new quarterback to come in and replace Carson Strong, and those are some big shoes to fill. A running back is gone off this team. Avery Morrow is gone, only had 121 yards and a touchdown last year, but you lose a little bit of a depth guy out of this running back room. Lots of wide receivers gone off this team, and lots of very good wide receivers gone off this team. Romeo Doubs, 1,109 yards, 11 touchdowns is gone. And Cole Turner, easily Carson Strong's 2 favorite targets, 677 yards and 10 touchdowns. You'll lose his production, as well as Torrey Horton, who had 659 yards and 5 touchdowns a season ago. Melquan Stovall, 643 yards and a touchdown. Justin Lockhart, 470 yards, 2 touchdowns. Elijah Cooks, 157 yards and 4 touchdowns a season ago. You'll lose all of that talent out of this wide receiver room. And again, there are some big shoes to fill within the wide receiver room, within the likes of Doubs and Turner and some other names there as well. And on the defensive side, you lose guys on the defensive line like Tristan Nichols, Sam Hammond, Daniel Griziak. I probably said that last name wrong, but they're all gone off of the defensive line. Hammond, 5.5 sacks last year. Nichols, 27 tackles. 10 of them were sacks a season ago. And then in the linebacking group, you lose guys like Lawson Hall, Trevor Price, Diane Henley. You lose some of those names. Henley was the leading tackler last year. And Lawson Hall, 2nd leading tackler last year. Also, Henley, I believe, led the team 4 interceptions and had a pick 6 a season ago as well. In the defensive back group, you lose Jordan Lee, who was the 3rd leading tackler. A.J. King, also gone as well, as Burdale Robbins. So definitely a lot of talent leaving this Nevada team. But when you take a look at the talent coming in, well, there are 1 or 2 guys, in my opinion, that are going to be able to fill in for Carson Strong at the quarterback position. I think the most likely of the 2 is a guy by the name of Nate Cox. Now, played a little bit a season ago, had 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception a season ago. He's definitely got some big shoes to fill if he is to be named that starter, but also You have Shane Illingsworth coming into this team. He's a transfer from Oklahoma State that, if Nate Cox proves to not work out, or maybe even he gets beat by Shane Illingsworth can be a solid option for them at the quarterback position as well. Now, I don't think either of them are going to be Carson Strong by any means, but they're going to be solid options at the quarterback position. Your running back depth is kind of your running back room is kind of the only thing that's remained intact, at least somewhat. Again, with the loss of Avery Morrow, Toa Tawa, 732 yards, 6 touchdowns a season ago, and Devontae Lee, 331 yards and 5 touchdowns a season ago for this team. So you do return your top 2 rushers from a season ago. In the wide receiver room, there's going to be a lot to work on in this wide receiver room. Now, you do return Jamal Bell, Tyrese Mack, a couple guys coming back. But there are a couple guys coming in that I would like you to know about. BJ Castile is a transfer coming in that could put up some numbers for this team. And then Victor Snow, a freshman coming into this team that's expected to put up some pretty solid numbers. And then Cooper Schultz is the tight end coming over. I believe a tight end transfer from Oregon, figures to be that starting tight end next year. Defensively, you return guys like Dom Peterson, who is an NFL prospect D lineman, 39 tackles, 5.5 sacks a season ago. And then Christopher Love coming back there as well. Josiah Bradley back at the linebacker position. And then the defensive back position, you're getting Darian Greenwarren, who I believe is a transfer over from Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's a transfer from Michigan. Tyson Williams comes back for this team, had 5 passes defended, 3 picks a season ago. Johan Claiborne coming back for this team as well. 62 tackles a season ago, was the 4th leading tackler. And then Isaiah Esisima coming back for this team there as well. He had 3 passes defended with 12 tackles last year. So a Nevada team that loses a lot offensively, loses some pretty solid defensive talent as well. But this Nevada team is still going to be capable of pushing their way for a spot in a bowl game. But let's take a look at what the Wolfpack have to deal with on the schedule this year. Their first 3 non-conference games here, I think, are going to be fairly easy for them. You got to go on the road to play New Mexico State. I think Nevada's a better team than New Mexico State. You got a home game against Texas State. That's a team that's looking to try to push in the right direction, but isn't quite there yet out of the Sun Belt Conference. And Nevada gets them at home. And then also an FCS team in Incarnate Word. Your tough non-conference game, you got to go on the road to play in Kinnick Stadium against the Iowa Hawkeyes. When you look at conference games, you have games on the road against Air Force, Hawaii, San Jose State, and UNLV to cap off the year. And then you get games at home against Colorado, San Diego State, Boise State, and Fresno State. So let's dive on in to what the Wolfpack are dealing with in 2022. Again, I feel like those first 3 non-conference games are going to be really pretty simple for Nevada to go ahead and go 3-0 in those games. Now, if they're going to lose a game in that schedule, maybe Texas State, maybe New Mexico State, but I don't see them really struggling in any of those games. Maybe some of them are a little closer than expected, but I think with the talent that's still on this Nevada team, you get 3 pretty nice warm-up games here to kind of build that talent, decide who that quarterback is going to be, mix up a couple lineups, wide receivers, defensive lineups, defensive schemes. You have some room to play around within those first 3 games, in my opinion, before you have to go on the road to play Iowa in Kinnick Stadium, which is just going to be a tough game. Now, Iowa's offense definitely needs improvement. Quarterback play, offensive line. They're losing Tyler Goodson, a couple wide receivers. Their offense needs improvement. Defensively, this should still be a really, really good football team, and I think that's why Nevada's going to struggle in Kinnick Stadium. When you look in conference play, just a lot of flat-out tough games. On the road against Air Force, with how much that team has coming back this year, is going to be a really interesting game. You got Boise State, Fresno State there as well on the schedule. While, yes, you get both of them at home, I think your odds of winning even one of those are fairly slim. Same thing with San Diego State. Now, your odds of winning one of those 3 games, again, still looking bleak, but maybe you get a win out of one of those 3 since you have them at home. But then also lots of winnable games here. Now, you do get to play your old head coach in Jay Norvell in Colorado State, and you get him at home. I think that's going to be a very, very interesting game. I think it's a game that Nevada can win there as well. But there are a lot of other winnable games on the schedule, yet they all come on the road. On the road to Hawaii could be a winnable game for Nevada. On the road against UNLV, same thing there. And then that road game against San Jose State as well. San Jose State, after a good 2020 campaign, were a little bit of a disappointment in 2021. 2022, they're bringing some transfers in, and they're looking to bounce back to 2024. Now, I don't do game-by-game predictions. I do a more percentage-based outlook. Tell me predict the team's record. So if the game is in red, I just don't see you winning that game. That game in Kinnick Stadium, I think going to be really hard for Nevada to go ahead and win that. Otherwise, games in orange are games that I still don't think you're going to win. But hey, it is college football. Upsets can happen. Yellow, your 50-50 high upset potential games. Games in yellow, green are games you should win. Watch out for teams on the other side of the ball, though. In games in green, I do have you winning. So again, like I said, those first 3 games in non-conference play, I think are going to be fairly simple for Nevada to go ahead and win. They're going to start off 3-0. I think people are going to look at this Nevada team saying, looking at that 3-0 record saying, oh, okay, this is a Nevada team that might be better than I thought. Hey, maybe losing Carson Strong, Romeo Doubs, Cole Turner, and lots of other guys there as well. Sam Hammond, Henley, their leading tackler, right? Like losing all these guys may not have been as big of a deal as I thought. Well, you got to look at who they played there too. Those are 3 teams that Nevada should be able to beat. And then you get into the gauntlet. You start off with Iowa, and they're probably going to end up losing that game. So starting off 3-1, I think is key for this Nevada team to be able to make a push towards a bowl game. But then finding 3 more wins on the schedule here is tough. It's really tough. I don't expect them to be able to beat the likes of Air Force or San Diego State, who are 2 incredible defensive teams. Boise State and Fresno State. Boise State, you always got to respect. They're there in the Mountain West. They should be pretty good this year. And then Fresno State, I think, is also going to be a really good team. They were a really good team last year. They get Jake Haener, Jalen Cropper back, even though that head coach is gone. They are still returning a lot of their better talent from a season ago. So that's going to be a hard game for them to win there. So then, what does that mean? Well, you're going to need to win 3 out of these 4 games. Colorado State, Hawaii, San Jose State, and UNLV. I think they can definitely get the win at UNLV, although that's a UNLV team that I expect to be competitive and pull out a couple of their closer, tight-knit games this year in 2022. And when you take a look elsewhere, on the road at Hawaii, that's a very winnable game. I mean, Hawaii loses a ton of talent from a season ago. A ton of talent from last year. They're the 2nd worst team in returning production off the top of my head. They're definitely one of the worst in the nation when it comes to that mark. I believe they're 2nd worst in the entire nation, only ahead of Northwestern. Colorado State, I do think that's a winnable game for the reason of I think Nevada's going to want to get a win over their former head coach and Jay Norvell. And then San Jose State, who knows what that team is going to look like, but they are getting former Hawaii quarterback Siobhan Cordero, who I think is due for a 3,000-yard passing season. When you look at this Nevada team, I do think starting 3-0, we'll go ahead and say 3-1 with that loss to Iowa is crucial to this season. But then, as I've stated before, finding 3 wins on the schedule is going to be a little bit tricky. And for that reason, I do have Nevada falling just short of a bowl game mark. I think 5-7 is where Nevada's going to be in 2022. And it pains me to say I have family in Nevada, and I like this Wolfpack team. I have for a long time. Even before I really got into college football and college athletics. But for Nevada here, I do have them falling short at 5-7. I just don't think they're going to be able to find that 6th win. I think 4 wins, 5 wins, very achievable. Finding that 6th win on the schedule, I think, is going to be a little bit of a challenge. That being said, they can push their way into a bowl game. I have the ceiling for this team at 7-5. Maybe they can win one of those 3 games at home that they have against the Aztecs, the Broncos, or the Bulldogs. But I think they're falling just short of a spot in a bowl game. That's going to do it for my prediction on the Nevada Wolfpack. Let me know what you guys think about this team in the comments section below. And remember to like, comment, subscribe. It helps support the channel. But most importantly, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.